Welcome back to Business Math. I'm using the book Practical Math Applications, 3rd edition, and I'm on Chapter 9, Part C. One of the things that I wanted to go over with you before we got into Part C any further is we're going to go back and take a look at the formulas that we've used up until this point. We know that anytime we purchase something, that price that we purchase it for is called our cost. And then the profit that we add on to it, that's called our markup. And when we add the markup to our cost, we get our selling price or the amount that we sell it for. This is true no matter what it is based on, no matter what whether it's based on selling price or whether it's based on cost. That will tell us that. Now we've learned that when it's based on cost, that we can also take our cost times our mark-on rate and get our mark-on amount. Well, the same thing holds true when it's based on selling price. We can take our selling price, that would be our base, our rate, and still get our mark-on amount. Okay? We still use this same formula because cost is going to be equal to our cost plus our mark-on will always equal our selling price, no matter what it's based on. Now, another thing that I just want to show you in another way, and this is the same formula, is that cost percentage plus my mark-on percentage or mark-on rate will equal my selling percentage. In other words, if I'm based on cost, whatever your base is, that will be 100%. Okay? So when it's based on cost, it'll be 100% plus, let's say we have an increase of 50%, will equal 150% will be our selling price. Now I can turn around and use that again by saying my base times my selling percent will equal my selling price. Okay? Looks just like that one, except for you take your base by the rate that you're looking for, and it'll give you that amount without the rate. So if you take your base, which is cost on this side, times your selling percent, it'll give you your selling. If you take your base, when your base is cost, times your mark on percent, it'll give you your mark on amount. Now, all of that is true, except for when we go down here, our base, that's 100% is our selling price. So let's think about that. If our selling price is 100%, we would have to subtract our mark on amount. So that would be our selling price less our mark on amount will equal our cost percent. And then we can do the same thing. So if we had a selling price, our selling price would be, it's based on selling price, so it'd be 100%. Let's say our mark on rate was 50. Whoops. 50%. That would mean that my cost percent would be 50%. Then I can take my selling price times my cost percent, and that'll give me my actual cost. Sound fun? Well, let's take a look at some of those as they're played out in the examples, and then we'll see if it gets any more complicated. Pretty much the one thing that might help you to remember it is this formula holds true always, always, always. Your cost is going to be greater than your selling price. If it's not, you're losing money. And then your cost amounts are interchangeable with your percents. So cost percent plus mark on percent equals my selling percent. And we can use that formula in the same way. The difference in based on cost and based on selling price is when things are based on cost, that's like something we're purchasing. Like when we were purchasing rings and we're selling them. We get them for $5. We add $2. That means our selling price is $7. Our rings changed considerably. We're buying cheaper rings now. And then when it's based on selling price, that's something that has like a set selling price. Like when you do Pampered Chef or when you do home interior or longer burger baskets or things like that. I'm not sure what you're going to be familiar with, so I'm trying to name a bunch of different ones. But it's like something that they give you a catalog, you have to sell it for their price, and then from that price you get it cheaper. So the selling price is your base. That's what you have to start with. And when it's like that, that's like when we're selling the, let's say, the longer burger baskets. Anytime we're selling those longer burger baskets, they cost the same to everyone. So if you are selling the basket, they'll tell you that this basket costs $150. And then you may get it for $100 because that would mean that $50 is your mark on amount, but you're actually starting with the 150 and working backwards. So over here, when it's based on cost, that M or that mark on amount represents your profit. Over here, the M or that mark on amount represents your commission, sort of. Or the difference in the amount that you have to pay for it, that it costs you, and what you get to sell it for. But usually that selling price is already set. Okay, let's go ahead. I think I've probably talked you out of knowing what you're doing. So let's go ahead and do some examples and see if I can help you remember what it is that we're working on. Don't want to save it. Okay, we're on part C, so number 9. And number 9 starts out with, tells me my cost is $13.25, and it tells me my selling price is $32.50. I know that my cost plus my mark on amount equals my selling price. And I have two. Anytime you have two of them, then you can solve for the third. So I'm going to fill in the blanks using this formula. I have 13.25 plus a mark on amount equals 32.50. That means I pay $13.25. I sell it for $32.50. The question is, how much do I make each time I sell it? In order to solve for that, I'll have to take, I've got two calculators open. $32.50 subtract how much I have to pay for it. That means every time I sell it, I make $19.25. $19.25 is my mark on amount. Now I have my mark on amount, my cost, and my selling price, and it wants to know, based on my selling price, what is my mark on rate? So my percent equals base times rate. My percent is my mark on amount, so 19.25. My base in this is 13.50, and I'm still looking for that mark on rate. So it's being multiplied on this side. In order to carry across, I will divide. Now all I have to do is solve for that mark on rate. Now I take 19.25 divided by 32.50, and that tells me 59.2, so 0.592, and I have to change that into a percentage. So 1, 2 places. 59.2% is my mark on rate. Yay! Okay, let's do number 10. Wrong. We're given the cost equals $3.50, and that my mark on rate equals 28%. Now, on this, our formulas or the formulas that we've talked about already are that our cost plus our mark on amount equals our selling price. And if it's based on percent, then we can use that percent equals base times rate, and our percent is our mark on amount equals our selling price times our mark on percent. Now if we consider this one, we have only one and we have to have two of the items in order to solve for that. And again, if I come down here to think about this formula, I still only have one of the components, and I would need two of the components in order to use this problem. So I'll have to consider something else. When it is based on whatever, that means that that base is 100%. So if it's based on my selling price, that means my selling percentage is 100%. Now, if I pay 100% for it and I get 28% in commission, or 28% of that I don't have to pay for, that means that I'm paying for how much of it. So let's see, if I paid or sell it for 100%, I sell my basket for 100%, and then 28% of that I don't have to pay for, that means that I only have to pay for 72% of the total selling price. Now I have my that's my selling percent minus my mark on percent, and that equals my cost percent. So that's not right. If it sells for a certain amount and I only have to pay 72% of that, and that amount equals $3.50, then I can solve to see how much the selling price is. Now let me try and say that again a little more clearly. My selling price, because that's what it's based on, times my cost percent will equal my cost. And I've got my cost percent and I've got my cost. So now all I have to do is solve for my selling price. It's currently being multiplied, so to bring it across, I will divide. So 3.5 divided by 0.72 gives me $4.86 is my selling price. Now I have my selling price and I have my cost. So my selling price, if I subtract my cost out of my selling price, it'll leave me with my mark on. So $4.86 is how much I sell it for. I only have to pay $3.05 for it. That leaves me making $4.86 minus $3.50. That leaves me making $1.36 every time I sell it.